Colinas de Goiás, hills of the state of Goiás, 600 hard, dusty miles from Belém, 750 from Brasilia. With the building of Brasilia, the government has begun to lay new roads from the coast to the interior, and Brazilians have begun to move inland, looking for farmland, home sites, and business opportunities. Who are the settlers of a new land? What do they hope to find at the edge of the wilderness? Some answers may be seen in the life of José Wilson Siqueira Campos, known simply as Siqueira, a man who came here early, bought land, built a sawmill, and began to ship lumber out of the region. When settlers move to Colinas de Goiás, it often is Siqueira who sells them a place to live. When they go to work, it often is to clear land that belongs to Siqueira. Once cleared, the land will be good for raising rice, beans, and cattle, the agricultural products of this region. An average day in Siqueira's life finds him selling lumber and land and looking after his varied interests. And it soon becomes clear that they are the interests of the whole community. Whoever moves to a frontier village needs land, work, and building materials, and Siqueira can supply all of them. So this man, Siqueira, is a pioneer industrialist, though a close look at his sawmill reveals methods that are a good deal more primitive than people in North America are accustomed to. Lumber is virtually the only machined or processed product sent out of Colinas de Goiás, and lumbering offers jobs for a great number of men. Leading citizens of Colinas de Goiás are concerned about problems of their young community. They are unhappy that skilled services are hard to obtain. There is no hospital and no doctor. There are few roads, and education is so poor, it is rare to meet a man in the community who can write his own name. What it amounts to is that frontier people are isolated from the government, a situation many of them would like to see improved. Despite such complaints, these people have found ways to make their lives tolerable and even enjoyable. For example, in this humid tropical climate, a family can build its first house of natural materials. José Francisco da Silva, known as Paraíba, is building such a house. Paraíba is a new settler. His house is 30 miles west of town, 5 hours travel by jeep. Eventually, he hopes to farm his own land. But now he works for Siqueira, using a handmade tool, a matraca, to plant rice on forest land which he has just recently cleared. Paraiba's wife does the family laundry in a stream. She cooks a meal that is served everywhere along the frontier: rice, beans, and meat. The meat for today's meal is armadillo. Once the forest is cleared, rice and beans are grown. But in a few years, these crops will deplete the poor tropical soil. Eventually, grass will be planted and cattle will be raised. At present, a few hogs are kept. But for the most part, meat is still wild game. For people who live in and around Colinas de Goiás, a market day is important. It is when they can buy, sell, or barter to obtain the necessities and the few luxuries of frontier life. It is when they can deal for land or employment, or when they can visit the dentist. Elpidio Moreira Lima is the town's only dental practitioner, an unlicensed, self-taught puller of teeth and maker of dentures. His work, though primitive, is the best available in the settlement. Recently, Lima has hired workmen to build him a new house. He, his wife, and his children pose for a family portrait, while in the background, their house grows. Another man who has contributed to the settlement's growth is Ervao Oliveira Farias, who is moving his general store to a new and larger building. The goods he sells have been brought to town by truck. Though Farias is prospering, he is not entirely satisfied with frontier life. He worries that his neighbors and he lack medical services, roads, and good law enforcement. He would like someday to have an electric sign, and perhaps he will. At present, the only electric lights are in the town square. The only generator, a very small one. But more poles have been installed, and a large diesel generator has been ordered. Officials promise that the situation will soon improve. Among people of a frontier town, a holiday is a time away from everyday hard work, a time to relax. This holiday is Brazilian Independence Day. There are parades and speeches, symbols of everyone's desire to get the best that civilization can offer as soon as possible. A holiday is a time for recreation. And this week, a traveling show, the Circo Luxembourg, is in town. After days on the dusty road, the performers rehearse for their first appearance. In their own way, the circus performers are as much pioneers as the people who live in the settlement, traveling along back roads, providing amusement for people, many of whom, like themselves, will sleep after the show in trucks, tents, or on the ground. The circus provides simple fun, enjoyed by children. And it is the children of the town that people worry about, and in whom they place their hope for the future. It saddens the older pioneers to see their children enduring the hardships of frontier life, having to work and not being able to get good educations. There are 3 elementary schools in Colinas de Goiás, but they teach only the lower grades and are open for only 3 hours a day. Of the teachers, there is only one who has herself graduated from high school. Like pupils everywhere, boys and girls on the frontier have fun during recess. But the fact remains that schools here are not good enough. These are the kinds of things that the town's leaders promise to improve. They often speak about their goals and their accomplishments. They speak of newly cleared land, of buildings under construction, of the increasing number of shops and industries. They know that nearly every week, people arrive with their household goods, purchase land, and add to the resources of the community. The same pattern that was seen years ago on the frontier of North America. Perhaps, like many North American frontier towns, Colinas de Goiás will one day be a city, a center of industry or education. Perhaps not. In any event, older residents marvel at the changes that just a few years have brought, and they eagerly await the promise of the future.